Hello, everybody. This is James Donnelly. I'm with Safe Haven Insurance, your Medicare and health insurance safe place. I am here with Tony from Brightview. And how I found this place, I was at an NAIPC meeting, and they openly hosted it for us. It was really great. And as I walked in the door, my breath kind of was taken away. It really was, Tony. I drive past this building every single day, and I really didn't know how spectacular it was. So it's a little hidden gem, and I reached out to them immediately just to kind of brag about this place, because it really is a magnificent place. So thank you for allowing us to do this here today. Thank you for hosting the NAIPC meeting. I really appreciate that. And I want to wave your flag. I want to be your cheerleader, because this place is really spectacular. So, Tony, what do you do here at Brightview?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on. I am the Regional Director of Operations for New York, so I operationally manage the New York communities.
So you're a big shot.
I wouldn't say that. No. I don't think of myself as that at all. Nope. I'm an operator.
All right. Perfect. I love it. Yeah. So, now, number one, I'm in a lot of facilities every day, whether it's a skilled nursing facility, a rehab center, long-term care, independent living facilities. And this place is like none of the others I have been to. It is a home. Yes. It is truly a community. That was intentional?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We specifically build our communities from the ground up to be a home and a community. We want our residents to be in a very home-like, joyful environment where they can socialize, be physically safe, and have all the amenities that they need to thrive.
Okay. So I noticed there's about 48 communities throughout the country.
Yeah.
And you have 2 on Long Island.
Yes.
So I see that there's hundreds of other assisted living, independent living facilities, but you're a community, so you're by far separate from them.
That's the F word.
What sets you apart from all of the other communities that I visit?
I think that, first of all, our model. So we have independent living, assisted living, and dementia care, which we call our Wellspring Village, all under one roof.
Wow.
So that is something a little bit different. We are not a buy-in, which a lot of the independent communities in the area are buy-ins, so you don't have to spend a large chunk of money to enter the community. We have a very small community fee when you enter our community, so that's a differentiator for sure. We have very flexible contracts, and I think just our philosophies in general on our residents and our associates, the people who work for us, make us different.
Okay. I know when I left here after my NAIPC meeting, I called my mother right away and I said, Mom, I found a place for you. And she said, you're sending me to a home already? I said, Mom, you have no idea. It is, I want to live here. I'm 44 years old. And I said, when I walked in, I said, I want to move in here like now, because it's really spectacular. There's a full lobby. There's a fireplace. I wish I could show our listeners, but you have a commercial and they could go online and check it out. Yeah. There's a pool room. There's a movie theater. Yeah. There's a chess room, right?
Art studio,
fitness. This place is really unbelievable. So you spoke about associates.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about the culture here at Brightview.
Yeah. So it's huge for us that the people that work for us want to come to work every day, that they're happy, because we feel if they're happy and engaged, they're going to give our residents a great experience. So we're very in tune with doing things and making things better for our associates. We take a lot of time and pride in listening to them. We have a lot of services and things for them to engage in to make things better for them. We have competitive pay, which is also very important. We look at that all the time to make sure that we're paying at the best rates. So it's that sort of thing that we do to really, really make sure that our workspace is the best that it can be for the people that work for us and with us. Yeah.
And that kind of makes this place even more special
It does.
because the residents feel that, right?
Yeah, they a lot of the residents feel like our associates are their family. We're with people every day. We see them every day. Many times our associates are the first ones that know that something's kind of happening with someone, right? Because they see them every day. So they'll go and say, hey, Mary seems a little off today. She didn't eat very much, and that's very unusual for her. And then maybe our nurse might go and have a chat with Mary and see what's going on. So it's a very reciprocal relationship that they have with each other.
It's just very rare that corporate culture. Is this a publicly traded company?
It is not.
It is
so
not.
That's a differentiator for us. We're private. We're private. Okay. So I think that's a big difference. We make the decisions. We have the stakes and everything. So I think that is a big differentiator for us. There's nobody else telling us what we need to do.
It's not about bottom lines or stock prices or anything like that, profits. I mean, really, you're building a culture,
yes,
a corporate culture, which is trickling down to the communities and the residents, and that really is what's setting you apart. I mean, I could see that completely.
Yes.
Now, how long has Brightview been on Long Island?
It's been on Long Island. This community opened in February of 2020.
Ooh, right before COVID.
Right before COVID.
Wow, that had to be a very trying time.
Yeah, it was. It was tough for everybody in the industry during that time. But yeah, to open a community right before COVID happened was tough.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your experience here. Was it, it's a new community. COVID comes out like really 30 days after you open, more or less.
Yep.
So you're a month, you have new residents, new staff. It must have been really trying.
It was. It was a trying time, but we all rallied together and we did the best to make our residents continue to have a good experience. So we pivoted. We were flexible. We still had activities going. Might not have been in a group setting, but it was social distance. We did rolling happy hours to have fun. Lots of different things to make sure that our residents were engaged. And we were super transparent during that time. That's another differentiator with our company. We are very transparent about what we do. We talk to our families, our residents. We tell them what's happening within the community. And during that specific time, it was even more important to be transparent.
I mean, I know it was a stressful time for everyone. And I have friends and colleagues that had family in nursing homes and rehab centers, and there was no communication. They were touching the glass to see their loved ones. And it really, I mean, you would see it on the news, but it was really, people in the community, and that it's true. Like they had a set time, they would go to the window, they would have a conversation with his wife on his cell phone, and they would look through the window. And it was a very sad, scary time.
Yes.
So it seems like you guys really handled it really well, and it just kind of made you stronger.
I think we did. And we also put a lot of things in place for our associates who work for us during that time.
Tell me a little bit about that. Definitely.
We had grocery stores within our communities. That was huge. We knew it was difficult for our associates to go grocery shopping, right? They were working long hours. It's hard to get places. With COVID, people were scared. So we ended up just bringing a bunch of food into our communities, and we had a food pantry.
Wow.
So our associates can go and take groceries up to 2 bags a week. We had everything. We had meat, we had dairy, we had snacks, we had products for babies. You name it, we had it in that pantry. We had premium pay during that time. Just a lot of things. A lot of education was given during that time.
So while other companies were laying off because of COVID, Brightview was really kind of fueling their associates.
Absolutely. We hired during that time. We were hiring hospitality aides during that time. People that were going to be helping us deliver mail and goods, packages that were coming in. So we really went the extra mile during that time to make our residents, have a less of an impact with what was happening.
Now, what about the residents? Did they, with food and stuff like that? I'm just curious. Were they able to get food and go grocery shopping?
We delivered.
Get out to your residents as well?
Yes, we delivered. We delivered every day food to our residents.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 meals a day. So it was pretty amazing during that time. Even our independent living residents who typically don't have a lunch included, we were giving them a lunch at that time if they needed it.
So you just said independent living, lunch is not included.
Yeah.
So I know we're in Sayville now. You just opened up another location in Port Jefferson a year and a half ago.
About a year and a half ago.
And I heard it's even more spectacular than Sayville. But tell me a little bit about like what it's like, because the first thing that my mother said to me when I called her and said, I found a place for you, and she said, it sounds really magical, but we can't afford it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what people say when they hear independent living, assisted living, we can't afford it. So tell me about what's included and you know, tell me about.
Sure. I think it's an education.
Okay,
I think that people need to really do their due diligence and kind of really see. I mean, we have a lot of flexibility in terms of floor plans. Okay. We have smaller spaces. We have studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, all different kinds of floor plans for people to choose from. So we try to make it, advantageous for someone to come in to pick an apartment with us.
The apartment that we're in right now,
we're in a 2-bedroom,
is absolutely amazing. It's definitely as nice of some of the hotel rooms that I've stayed in, the nicer hotel rooms. This place is really, and it's home. It's really, there's 2 bedrooms, a bed. We're going to do a little shoot on the way out of the apartment, maybe the hallway. Just to show how magical this place is. So the first step in would be independent living.
Yes, independent living.
True independent living. And I know that's emphasized a lot. So explain to me, like, true independent living.
So it is true.
Okay.
Some of our competitors will tout that they are independent, but it really isn't. You are under an assisted living umbrella. Okay. This truly is independent living. That means you are independent. You have an apartment. It's worry-free living, but there is always someone. We have a concierge 24 hours. There's always someone if you need someone, but you come and go. You do whatever you want. You come to meals. The kitchens have stoves. They're full kitchens. You can cook in your apartment. This is your home. You do whatever you want. So that is true independence. We have activities running throughout the day. You pick and choose what you want to do. That, again, is a Brightview philosophy. We're all about possibilities, independence, and choice for our residents.
I know when I walked in today, they're playing, what were they playing?
Canasta.
Canasta. They were playing canasta. There was a couple gentlemen playing chess. It was really.
Yes.
Then I walked past the movie theater. There's a movie theater.
There is.
And there was residents in the movie theater watching a movie. I mean, this was really, you don't have to leave. Like, you could.
If you don't want to, but we leave, we go on trips. So we go out as a group and go on trips. Wow. We go to restaurants, we go to shows.
Do the residents pay for that, or is that included?
Depends on the situation.
Got it.
But we do lots of things. We go grocery shopping. We take them grocery shopping if they need to. We have a bus. We all go together. So there's a variety of things happening. We have lectures, art. We have a SPICE model and SPICE is our acronym for our activities program. Okay. So it's spiritual, physical, intellectual, cultural, and emotional activities. So it's all these different things encompassing in a monthly calendar. And our residents can pick and choose what they want to do.
Okay. That sounds great. So that's like the step in, independent, true
independence, yes.
And then the next step would be assisted living.
Right.
What is involved in that?
Our assisted living neighborhood, it's a supportive neighborhood. Okay. Again, we want our residents to be as independent as possible, do as much as they can on their own, but when they need assistance, we're there. So in that neighborhood, we have care assistants, resident assistants, which are home health aides. We have med techs that give medication. We have LPNs, and we have RNs, and we're staffed 24 hours a day. Wow. So whenever a resident needs something, they have a pendant. They push their pendant, and one of their care assistants will come and assist them. Everyone has an individualized plan of care, which is really important because what I need and what you need is going to be different. So we want to make sure that we have that very individualized service plan for that resident.
Now, do those units have kitchens or?
They have kitchenettes.
They have kitchenettes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they have
refrigerator, microwave.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Sink, countertop.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now the dementia care unit.
Yes.
What is that like?
Wellspring Village. So it's a secure neighborhood. Yes, it's our secure neighborhood. Okay. Again, it's staffed 24 hours. The associates that work in that neighborhood are specifically trained for dementia. We have a activities program there as well. We have a beautiful courtyard that the residents go out and enjoy. We do cooking in there, arts and crafts, exercise, you name it. We have activities in that neighborhood as well. And again, it's supportive. And again, the associates that work in that neighborhood understand behaviors, understand what comes along with the dementia journey, and that there are all different types, and that we all just need to be patient and work through things together. So it's a very supportive environment there. There is a specific director of that neighborhood as well, same as assisted living.
Okay. So I know dementia affects a lot of people. We're going through it now with my grandmother. She was in a facility. She wasn't in the community. She was in a facility, a rehab center.
Yep.
She got sundownings,
Yes.
which I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yes.
Night terrors. It was horrible. And then that's when the dementia kicked in. It was early onset, and now it's not horrific, but it is. So, like my mother said, in a place like, I can't afford a place like that. It's self-pay, right?
It is.
Okay.
In our care neighborhoods, though, if you have a long-term care insurance policy, that would cover some of the cost. It depends on the policy you have. So I would say to folks, know what you have, educate yourself on your policy, and then make sure that someone in your family knows you have it. Because that's important.
That's very important.
Because sometimes things happen and you may not be the one that is doing the looking or, trying to make arrangements, and it's important for that person to know that you have this policy.
So having that long-term care policy is really just a part of planning.
Yes.
I sit with a lot of younger couples, middle-aged couples, senior couples, and they said, well, I didn't get the long-term care policy because I couldn't afford it. But now, like looking at my grandmother, she didn't have long-term care insurance, and now it's the burdens on the family.
Yes.
And now we're struggling,
Yep.
to pay home health care aides, things like that. And she doesn't want to leave her home, so that's a different scenario. But for instance, if you had long-term care, I have another friend, a family friend, who was absolutely infatuated with long-term care, and he bought it for him and his wife, and it was really a godsend for him and his family.
Absolutely.
And he's still using. He's got 2 aides that are with him all the time. I mean, it's really an amazing tool. So can you afford it now, or can you not afford it later? So it's a pretty scary thing. And there's other tools that can be used. I mean, there's life insurance policies with the long-term care rider.
Yes.
And then even some of these universal life plans or whole life plans that have a cash value. You could use the cash value in those plans to pay for long-term care. And I mean, let's be realistic. We live on Long Island. Taxes aren't cheap.
Yes.
Taxes aren't cheap. Home repairs aren't cheap.
Yes.
Food is expensive. Everything is expensive on Long Island. And I know pricing is different per geographical location, but I told my mom, I said, for what you and Dad pay for the house and for food and for repairs, they just needed a hot water heater. It was $4,000. They needed a roof. It was $12,000. These things add up. You have to give the guy $100 to shovel the sidewalk. These are things that they don't have to worry about anymore. So just a little bit more money, they could come live in the plaza.
Yeah,
called Brightview.
Yeah, I mean, we tout ourselves on worry-free living. You really don't have to do any of that. And I think sometimes if you really look at everything you're paying for and you compare it to what you're going to get here, it may really not be that big of a difference.
It's not.
When you really look at it apples to apples.
I just did it quick, and I said, Mom, it's really not much of a difference. I know what your taxes are.
And you won't have to pay that here at all. So I think it's just an education piece for people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, I love this place. I really do.
Thank you.
I have to bring my mom here so she could kind
I've
of
had a smile on my face the entire time from hearing you say how
really
lovely the community is. That makes me feel so
That's
good.
why I reached out to Chris, because I said, this place, hang on, even when we came for the NAIPC meeting, you put out this amazing spread and you just welcomed us. You told us a little bit about the facility. You brought us on tours.
Yep.
It was really, really amazing. And I felt your love for Brightview, and I felt your love for the residents. And I said, this place is special. And I really don't do this, but I wanted to. I wanted to wave your flag, and I wanted to be your cheerleader, because this place is really great. So, Tony, let's talk about, just real quick before we end, planning. How important is it to plan? Because a lot of people are just status quo, and they worry about what's in front of them, and they don't look at the future. They don't look, time flies.
I mean, planning is super important. I can speak for myself. I'm already looking at long-term care insurance for myself. I think there's a window of time that it's like the best time to buy it. But yeah, planning is super important because then you have control of the situation. As we age, sometimes things happen, right? You may be in a spot where something happens and you have to make a decision quickly. You have the tools to do that now because you've planned and you've prepared. So I'm a big believer in planning. I think it's important. So yeah, anything that people can do to get to that good spot where they have what they need, I think is great.
Okay, that's amazing. Thank you so much for having us. I really appreciate it. And do you give tours or anything for people who are interested in checking out the facility?
We call them personal visits.
The community, personal visits.
Personal visits.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. We are here 7 days a week. You can come, call the community, walk in and have a personal visit. You can have a meal here and enjoy it. Check out our food.
Food is amazing.
Check out some activities. Come to a happy hour to see if you like it.
Oh, happy hour.
We have happy hour every day.
There is a bar downstairs. When I walked into the lobby and I said, oh my goodness, this is amazing. They said they have a happy hour
every day.
2 drink maximum though. So
and we serve food.
They lost me at that, the 2 drink maximum, but they serve food. The food is great. We were here for breakfast for the meeting and it was really, really great.
Yeah.
So this place is really magical, and I wanted my listeners to hear about it because you're not only in New York, you're you're in multiple states, but 48 locations, right?
Yeah, on the East Coast.
On the East Coast.
Yeah, Virginia all up through Massachusetts.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, Brightview's doing an amazing job. Their staff is amazing. You're amazing.
Thank you.
The facility is really great. So thank you so much for having us. I really appreciate it. And remember, plan long-term care insurance, and long-term care insurance is underwritten. So get it while you're healthy, while you can. And it's less expensive the younger you are. So plan ahead. I appreciate you, Tony. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much again.
Of course.